In the part 5th of diseases of the skin, we are going to discuss about pemphigus. Now, pemphigus is a serious chronic skin disease which is characterized by the appearance of vesicles and bullae, small or large fluid-filled blisters that develop in cycle. Now, the word pemphigus came from a Greek word that is pemphix, which means a bubble or a blister. It was named by Wickman in 1791. It is basically an autoimmune disease. So the autoantibodies are produced against desmoglein 1 and 3. So these desmoglins are the components of desmosomes. Now what are desmosomes? These are intercellular junctions. The cells are connected to each other with the help of desmosomes. So now when the desmosomes are not present there, so it will result in loss of cohesion of the keratinocytes, which will further result in the formation of the blisters. Now the clinical types. There are various clinical types which have been written, and some have been included within these clinical types as the subtypes. For example, pemphigus vegetans have been included in pemphigus vulgaris. Now, as we see, it is an autoimmune disease. So, comparing it with pemphigoid, the etiology will be like this. I will try to explain it with the help of an example. Now, for example, you have halogen balloons with you. Here, this is a set of halogen balloons which is attached to the ground with the help of a thread. Now, there is another set of balloons which doesn't have a thread. These are also halogen balloons, but these are attached to each other and to the lower set of balloons with the help of an adhesive element or a glue. Now what will happen if the glue is removed in between them? They will start moving away from each other, causing a space in between. Here space will be formed. So this, consider this as the stratum spinosum. This is the set of basal cells. These are hemidesmosomes which attach the basal cells to the basement membrane. Now when the glue is lost, now what was the glue here? It was the desmosomes. So these were the desmosomes. When the desmosomes are attacked and there is a loss of cohesion, each cell will move apart, forming a blister within the epithelium, and this is what happens in pemphigus. Now what happens in pemphigoid is these hemidesmosomes are attacked and there is a vesicle formation below the basement. So there is a vesicle formation below the basal cell layer here. So a subepithelial vesicle is formed in pemphigoid here, as you can see, and an intraepithelial vesicle is formed in pemphigus, as seen here. Now coming to pemphigus vulgaris, it is basically an autoimmune intraepithelial blistering disease that affects the skin and the mucous membranes, and it is mediated by circulating and autoantibodies which are directed against keratinocyte cell surfaces. Now the age for this disease is usually 50 to 60 years. It is more commonly seen in white people. Now we have signs in pemphigus vulgaris. The first is the Nikolsky sign. So if we have a normal skin here and we apply pressure here. We apply pressure on the normal skin, and in this condition a vesicle will be formed where the pressure was applied, which was apparently normal skin. So a vesicle is formed. This is the Nikolsky sign. Now what is the Espoanson sign? So if you have a bulle or a vesicle here and you apply pressure here, then it will result in expanding or increasing the surface area of the vesicle or the bulle. This is the Espoanson sign. Both are positive in case of pemphigus vulgaris. Now pemphigus vegetans is an uncommon variant of pemphigus vulgaris which occurs in 1 to 2% of cases. This is a feature of pemphigus vulgaris, pemphigus vegetans, that is seen in the oral cavity. In the tongue, it is known as cribriform tongue. A cribriform tongue is seen in case of pemphigus vegetans. Now, cribriform tongue is characterized by a pattern of sulci and gyri on the dorsum of the tongue. Now coming to the oral manifestations, 50 to 70% of the mucosa is usually involved. It is more commonly seen in patients patients may present ill-defined, irregularly shaped gingival or buccal or palatal erosions that are painful and slow to heal, and there may be hoarseness in the patients with laryngeal vesicles or bullae. Now coming to the histology of pemphigus vulgaris. Now as you can see, this is the upper part, this is the epithelium, this is the connective tissue. So there is a split here. As you can see, these cells, these are the cells of the epithelium, but they are attached to the connective tissue. That means there is an intraepithelial split. Intraepithelial or a subbasilar, suprabasilar split. Now there is acantholysis of cells. Now what is acantholysis? It is basically the loss of intercellular connections between the cells. Rank cells are seen in a rank smear. Now what are rank cells? A rank cell is basically a large rounded keratinocyte with a hypertrophic nuclei, hazy nucleoli, and abundant basophilic cytoplasm. So when the cells start moving from each other, so there are a group of cells which may remain there as these are the rank cells. So an indirect immunofluorescent antibody test will show antibodies against intercellular substance which can be seen in the serum of the patients, and a direct test, the indirect test, the antibody in the direct test, the antibody will bind the immunoglobulin deposit in the intercellular substance and show positive fluorescence. Now for the management here, we have corticosteroids which may include prednisolone, 1 to 2 mg per kg body weight per day, and a combination therapy of high dose of corticosteroids plus immunosuppressive drugs such as cyclosporin, cyclophosphamide, or other drugs can be used such as dapsone or tetracycline. Now in pemphigus foliaceus, it is also known as superficial pemphigus or Fogo silvigum. It is an autoimmune skin disease characterized by the loss of adhesion of keratinocytes in the upper part of epidermis resulting in the formation of a superficial blister. Coming to the clinical features, it is characterized by early bullous lesions which rapidly rupture and leave dry areas or flakes or scales of skin. It is basically a mild form which is most commonly seen in older adults but can be seen in young adults too. Now there is a term known as Brazilian pemphigus. It is a mild endemic form of Pemphigus foliaceus which is found in tropical regions, mostly in Brazil. Now the histology in pemphigus, in pemphigus, all type of pemphigus, basically you will see an intraepithelial split. In this type you will also see an intraepithelial split, and there may be hyperkeratosis, and dyskeratotic cells can be seen. A mild dermal lymphocytic infiltrate can be seen. Now for the treatment, non-steroidal treatment is referred in this case. Now third is the family benign pemphigus. It is also known as Hailey-Hailey disease. It's a chronic autosomal dominant disorder with incomplete penetrance. Now coming to the clinical features, it is the disease first manifests in young adult or the young adult life. Nikolsky sign will be present for this, and lymph nodes may be tender or enlarged, and lesion develops a small group of vesicles appearing on the normal or erythematous skin, which soon rupture to leave eroded crusted areas. Now coming to the histological features, it is more extensive acantholysis will be seen, and a dilapidated brick wall effect is seen in this disease. Now coming to the treatment, use of mild corticosteroids or use of topical antibiotics such as clindamycin, tetracycline or erythromycin can be given for this condition. So this was all about pemphigus.